Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah. In the previous video we have explained to you how this new framework they are trying to promote throughout the world. So if you are a Muslim psychologist or you are a Muslim psychiatrist, please study this framework that we are providing as a basis for a new framework on CBT, Positive Islamic Cognitive Behavior Therapy, so that we can then hope to train as many people as possible so that we can help the ummah, those who are having psychological problems and those who are not having peace, those who are not having success, those who are not having happiness. We are trying to provide them a framework in which, inshallah, they can then achieve peace, happiness and success. So, as I mentioned previously, we have this feelings loop, then we have the emotion. So everything that you have, the trigger is a feeling, which is a few nanoseconds ahead of your emotion, and the feelings and emotion are together ahead of your manifestation in the thinking or in the physical manifestation at the physiology level. So when we have a negative feelings, these negative feelings is being manifested in terms of your negative emotion and your negative thinking. And it could be triggered by many things. For example, people who have anxiety or fear, they have this fear. So, for example, at the feeling level, if they see something, they see a snake, alright? Even before they see the snake, that somehow at the level of the quantum level or at the spiritual level, they have an idea that they're going to see a snake. And this is no joke, this is a reality. So actually, intuitively, we have a mechanism which Allah has given us, which need a lot of research. I cannot actually say what it is, but HeartMath Institute have measured in terms of the time lapse. All right. So these intuitive feelings comes to us, and then we see a snake, and suddenly we get frightened. Okay. So the feelings and the emotion of fright would be you just jump, or your heart palpitates, and you're breathing shallow, you go into the fight or flight mode. Whether you want to, you get in that situation, either you run or you fight back. So this is well documented in psychology. Alright? So you go into this negative mode of thinking that, oh, I'm going to die, because if this cobra or whatever poisonous snake bites you, you may die out of its poison and so on. So that whole idea of thinking now plays in your mind. So this feeling, emotion loop goes round and round and round and round and round and round, and you become paralyzed, or you just lose your mind, and you are incapable of actually making a good decision. Alright, this is an extreme example I'm giving you, but in everyday example, alright, we take a simple example of, alright, a person who, for example, apply for a job. He's going for the interview, and then before he go for the interview, he feel the fear that he's not going to get the job. Oh, I'm no good, I don't get the job, and all that negative feelings of fear of not getting the job, the feelings of not getting the job, it is manifested in his physiology. Alright, his breathing, his thinking, his every body, his muscle get tense, all the physical manifestation is manifested in the physiology, because this is a conscious real, and this manifestation is in the physiology of that person. So the feelings, emotion and thinking loop will be what we call the regressive root, or we have the positive loop, this is the negative loop. Okay, it's going downward. We have the positive loop of virtuous cycle of feeling, emotion and thinking going better and better and better, and the vicious cycle of going down and down and down and down. And this is where the inner speech at the feeling, emotion and thinking level, at SEMP level, this is what we call the automatic thoughts, as Aaron Beck has mentioned, or what we mentioned as inner speech in our Positive Islamic Psychology book. How our inner speech then control our life to the extent that if it's allowed to go and run wild, we will be repeating that same speech. For example, a guy who went for the job interview and he feels hopeless, his feelings of hopelessness, his emotion of hopelessness, and he's thinking continuously, I'm no good, I'm no good, I'm no good, I'm no good. His I'm no good becomes part of his automatic thoughts. So when he go for the next interview, it will be repeating, or even throughout the whole day, even after he come back from the interview and he was rejected, that burden becomes a very big burden, and that's where he has the development, the progression towards depression. So he may want to shut himself in the house, do not want to go out, do not want to apply for any job, and give up on life. There are many millions of people who have that problem. Just one simple trigger of failing an interview, feeling no good, feeling that they are hopeless, feeling that they cannot get a better job and whatever it is, and that leads them to the vicious cycle of negative inner speech or negative automatic thoughts, as mentioned by Aaron Beck in CBT. So how are we going to reframe that? And it is possible by us using the same cycle, feeling, emotion, thinking cycle, this loop. How can we make it positive? Alright, so that positive feeling, emotion, thinking loop can be made positive. For example, if we feel that we are not capable, inshallah, from the inner speech, we tell ourselves, okay, I have completed my degree program, I know I am capable, inshallah. Even I may not get this job, there are many other jobs in the world, there are many places which I can go. So you bring in this idea of feeling, and how to trigger that feeling. At the physiology, there are many areas which I will going to describe to you, because this is well researched. For example, in deep breathing, rhythmic breathing, heart breathing, SEMP awareness training program, zikr, and so many of these areas in which, unfortunately, we are not taught in the schools or the universities. The process of consciously living as a human being, of a wonderful, fully fledged Khalifa of Allah on this earth, being the vicegerent of God on this earth, thinking of becoming a vicegerent and living the life of a vicegerent of God on this earth. That is very positive. One of the most positive worldview and ideas that you can ever imagine. If you understand that, then you become very powerful, because you know, Alhamdulillah, I am a servant of Allah, I am a Caliph of Allah. I strive to make myself good. I strive to make myself to become an achiever. I help others to be good, or I help others to become achievers. And I'll try to make this world good so that everybody can live in peace, happiness, and success. So you play that inner speech in your mind, and that is the feeling, emotion, thinking loop, a virtuous cycle that goes towards. Then all these things will then develop your behavior. Once you have understand this, your behavior is now driven by the positive loop of feeling, emotion, thinking. So automatically, when you wake up, you have this idea of being positive. Before you sleep, you have this idea of being positive. When you are talking, you have this idea of being positive. So every aspect of you, at the physiological level, at your mental level, at your emotional level, at your spiritual level, your jasad, your akal, your qalb, your heart, and your ruh is synergized. You're living in a synergistic, coherent, synchronized way of living, and the rewards and the blessings and the power within it will be so immense. It is unbelievable if you understand how to harness this capability that is endowed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to every human being, especially to the Muslims. We can be the most positive people in the world. We can be the best of achievers in the world. We can be the most successful people in the world. And we can then bring this thing to everybody in the world. So inshallah, if you are able to understand this basic framework, inshallah, you will be able to achieve peace, happiness, and success, striving to make yourself good, helping others to be good, making the world good as a true and sincere servant, as a Khalifa of Allah. See you again.